Hi everyone. We're gonna continue with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. So we're gonna do section of it, starting from page 52 through 67. So we stopped here, and we've done this before, but it accidentally got deleted, so we're doing it again. So we are at a haunted house for Halloween. Greg was the wimpy kid, his friend. Raleigh and his mom. So there's a chainsaw guy in the haunted mansion. Right when it looked like the chainsaw guy was going to catch us, Mom stepped in and bailed us out. Mom made the chainsaw guy show us where the exit was, and that was the end of our haunted house experience right there. I guess it was a little embarrassing when Mom did that, but I'm willing to let it go this one time. Saturday. The Crossland haunted house really got me thinking. Those guys were charging $5 a pop, and the line stretched halfway around the school. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Raleigh in on the deal, because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full-out haunted mansion. It's May 23rd, by the way. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Raleigh in on the deal, because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full-out haunted mansion. So I knew Raleigh's dad wouldn't be crazy about the idea either, so we decided to build the haunted house in his basement and just not mention it to his parents. Me and Raleigh spent most of the day coming up with an awesome plan for our haunted house. That's not nice. I'm sorry, ma'am. So here was our final plan. Hall of Screams, Lake of Blood, Bottomless Pit, Rat Tunnel, Maze of 1,000 Skulls, Knife Alley. Sounds like something from Indiana Jones. Hand Hall. And then Death Slide, Acid Lake, and Exit. I don't mean to brag or anything, but what we came up with was way better than the Crossland High School haunted house. We realized we were going to need to get the word out that we were doing this thing, so we got some paper and made up a bunch of flyers. I'll admit, maybe we stretched the truth a little in our advertisement, but we had to make sure people actually showed up. By the time we finished putting the flyers up around the neighborhood and got back to Raleigh's basement, It was already 2:30, and we hadn't even started putting the actual haunted house together yet. So we had to cut some corners from our original plan. When 3 o'clock rolled around, we looked outside to see if anyone had showed up. And sure enough, there were about 20 neighborhood kids waiting in line outside Raleigh's basement. Now, I know our flyers said admission was 50 cents, but I could see that we had a chance to make a killing here. So I told the kids that admission was $2, and the 50-cent thing was just a typo. The first kid to cough up his $2 was Shane Snella. He paid his money and we let him inside, and me and Raleigh took our positions in the Hall of Screams. The Hall of Screams was basically a bed with me and Raleigh on either side of it. I guess maybe we made the Hall of Screams a little too scary, because halfway through Shane curled up in a ball underneath the bed. We tried to get him to crawl out from under there, but he wouldn't budge. I started thinking about all the money we were losing with this kid clogging up the Hall of Screams, and I knew we had to get him out of there quick. Rah, rah. Scream. Eventually, Raleigh's dad came downstairs. At first, I was happy to see him because I thought he could help us drag Shane out from under the bed and get our haunted house cranking again. But Raleigh's dad wasn't really in a helpful mood. Raleigh's dad wanted to know what we were doing and why Shane Snella was curled up under the bed. We told him that the basement was a haunted house and that Shane Snella actually paid for us to do this to him. But Raleigh's dad didn't believe us. I admit that if you looked around, it didn't really look like a haunted house. All we had time to put together was the Hall of Screams and the Lake of Blood, which was just Raleigh's old baby pool with half a bottle of ketchup in it. I tried to show Raleigh's dad our original plan. Poke, poke. Hitting him with the broom. To prove that we were really running a legitimate operation, but he still didn't seem convinced. And to make a long story short, that was the end of our haunted house. The good news is, since Raleigh's dad didn't believe us, he didn't make us refund Shane's money. So at least we cleared $2 today. Woohoo! Raleigh ended up getting grounded for that whole haunted house mess yesterday. And he's not allowed to watch TV for a week. And he's not allowed to have me over at his house during that time. That last part really isn't fair because that's punishing me, and I didn't even do anything wrong. And now, where am I supposed to play my video game? Anyway, I felt kind of bad for Raleigh, so tonight I tried to make it up to him. I turned on one of Raleigh's favorite TV shows, and I did a play-by-play over the phone so he could kind of experience it that way. Wow, look at the size of that flamethrower. Oh, yeah. Never mind. I did my best to keep up with what was going on the screen. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure if Raleigh was getting the full effect. I bet this part is going to be funny. Whoop, haha, I was right. It was funny. Tuesday, well, Raleigh's grounding is finally over, and just in time for Halloween, too. I went up to his house to check out his costume, and I have to admit I'm a little jealous. Raleigh's mom got him this night costume that's way cooler than his costume from last year. Which was, I think, Superman costume. His night outfit came with a helmet and a shield and a real sword and everything. I've never had a store-bought costume before, and I still haven't figured out what I'm going to go as tomorrow night, so I'll probably just throw something together at the last minute. I figure maybe I'll bring back the toilet paper mummy again. Shield, sword, boots, pants, helmet, armor, and gloves. But I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow night, so that might not be the smartest choice. In the past few years, the grown-ups in my neighborhood have been getting cranky about my lame costumes. And I'm starting to think it's actually having an effect on the amount of candy I'm bringing in. Toilet paper mummy. Not bad. Use tape too, I guess. What are you supposed to be? A cowboy? Double baseball hats? Made him a cowboy. But I don't really have time to put together a good costume because I'm in charge of planning out the best route for me and Raleigh to take tomorrow night. This year I've come up with a plan that'll get us at least twice the candy we scored last year. That's his cowboy costume. And the Superman. Halloween. About an hour before we were supposed to start trick-or-treating, I still didn't have a costume. And at that point, I was seriously thinking about going as a cowboy for the second year in a row. But then Mom knocked on at my door, and handed me a pirate costume with an eye patch and a hook and everything. Rowley showed up around 6:30, wearing his night costume, but it didn't look like anything like it looked yesterday. Rowley's mom made all these safety improvements to it, and you couldn't even tell what he was supposed to be anymore. She cut out a big hole in the front of the helmet so that he could see better, and covered him up. And how do you cut up a helmet? Like, with a knife? A saw? And covered him up in all this reflective tape. She made him wear his winter coat underneath everything, and she replaced his sword with a glow stick. Aren't those swords fake anyways? Like plastic? And what's the point of wearing a winter coat? No. I don't know how that makes it safer to be warm. I grabbed my pillowcase, and me and Rowley started to head out. That's his candy bag, his pillowcase. But Mom stopped us before we could get out the door. I want you to take Manny with you. Manny's his little brother. And he's a pirate too, apparently. Man, I should have known there was a catch when Mom gave me that costume. I told Mom there was no way we were taking Manny with us because we were gonna hit 152 houses in 3 hours, and plus we were going to be on Snake Road, which is way too dangerous for a little kid like Manny. I should have never mentioned that last part, because the next thing I knew, Mom was telling Dad he had to go along with us to make sure we didn't step foot outside our neighborhood. Dad tried to squirm out of it. But once Mom makes up her mind, there's no way to change it. Slam. Go with the kids and keep them safe. So, before we even got out of our own driveway, we ran into our neighbor, Mr. Mitchell, and his kid, Jeremy, so of course they tagged along with us. Blah, 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 blah. Manny and Jeremy wouldn't trick or treat at any houses with spooky decorations on them, so that ruled out pretty much every house on our block. Dad and Mr. Mitchell started talking about football or something, and every time one of them wanted to make a point, they'd stop walking. So we were hitting only about one house every 20 minutes. And that costume is something else. Wow. After a couple of hours, Dad and Mr. Mitchell took the little kids home. I was glad because that meant me and Riley could take off. My pillowcase was almost empty, so I wanted to make as much time as possible. A little while later, Riley told me he needed a potty break. I made him hold off for another 45 minutes, but by the time we got to my grandma's house, it was pretty clear that if I didn't let Riley use the bathroom, it was going to get messy. Because that's Grandma. So I told Riley if he wasn't back outside in 1 minute, I was going to start helping myself to his candy. After that, we headed back out on the road, but it was already 10:30, and I guess that's when most grown-ups decide that Halloween is over. You can kind of tell, because that's when they start coming to the door in their pajamas and giving you the evil eye. Give us candy. Happy Halloween, trick or treat. Nah. We decided to head home. We made up a lot of time after Dad and Manny left us, so I was pretty satisfied with how much candy we took in. Okay, so I think this is where we left off. We're gonna stop here. This is page 69. I thank you guys. My page is facebook.com Yosalplay, YOSALOPLAY. So take care. Alligators. Gators. So this was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. See y'all later. Bye.